Did you know that some British people say the word sorry as many as 20 times a day?
I'm really sorry about that.
Sorry.
It's almost as if we're addicted to it, even when it's not our fault. Imagine being in a supermarket, somebody knocks into you with a shopping trolley and you say sorry. It sounds a bit odd, but maybe not so odd in the UK. In today's video, we're looking at the subject of apologising in British English. Why we apologise so much, even when we don't need to, and what all those sorries actually mean. If you've ever been a bit confused by British politeness, then hopefully in today's video you'll get some of the answers. Plus, I've got some recommendations for a podcast you can listen to on this subject, a book, and a couple of articles that you might find useful. Also, if you watch to the end of the video, I'll give you details of how to download a free PDF all about apologies and apologising in English. So, why do we Brits say sorry all the time? According to one survey, the average Briton says the word sorry 8 times a day, with some Brits using it up to 20 times a day. I think I could actually be guilty of that. We use the word so often that it's practically our default response to any sort of awkward situation, whether it's our fault or not. A concept known as negative politeness explains quite a lot of this. In British society, we tend to apologise to avoid conflict.
Gosh, shit, I'm so sorry. I totally forgot.
We want to show respect without imposing on others, and it's a good way of generally keeping the peace. Although at times you might think that we feel guilty for just existing in somebody else's space. It's quite a British thing. As I said earlier, the word sorry can have slightly different meanings and can be used in different situations. So let's look at some of the ways that we can use this word sorry in English conversations in our daily lives. The first sorry that we're going to look at today is the sorry you use to apologise for mistakes. This is probably the most common use of sorry. It's your classic, sorry I missed your call, or sorry I'm late, or sorry I dropped a bottle of red wine all over your carpet. It's simple, straightforward, and to the point. You've done something wrong and you want to make it right. In fact, the first reason you probably learn the word sorry is to apologise for making a mistake. But trust me, there's more to the word sorry than just apologising. Which takes us on to the second use of sorry, which is using it for when you haven't understood somebody. So this is really useful if you don't speak English as your first language, or if you're a little bit deaf. So if you're in a conversation and you didn't quite hear what somebody said, instead of saying what or huh, which can sound a bit rude, you can use sorry. Sorry, what was that? Sorry, could you say that again? Sorry, could you repeat that, please? I didn't quite catch it. It's a gentle way of asking for clarification, and it avoids awkwardness if you need something to be repeated. The third use of sorry is to get someone's attention. Sorry, could you help me, please? This one's a little less obvious. It's for when you need to ask for somebody's help, but you don't want to come across as rude or demanding. So it's a way of softly interrupting and asking for somebody's help. So you could say, sorry, do you know what the time is, please? The British love a bit of politeness. The next usage of the word sorry that I've got for you today is for showing empathy. Maybe somebody shares with us the fact that they're going through something tough. We could say, I'm so sorry to hear that. So you're not apologising for something you've done. You're showing empathy and compassion. I'm sorry that your mum's not well. Is there anything I can do? The fifth use of sorry that we're going to look today, I'm calling the polite reflex. Yep, politeness again. Have you ever apologised when somebody has bumped into you? I know I have. In fact, I've apologised when I've bumped into an inanimate object like a lamppost. It sounds extreme, but it's like a British social reflex. So even when it's not our fault, we still use the word sorry. It's about maintaining social harmony. And again, it's our kind of go-to response in awkward situations. And basically, it's easier to say sorry than it is to make a big fuss over something. We don't like to make a fuss. Number 6 is using sorry to soften requests. Let's say you're sitting at dinner with some friends and you want the salt. You could say, pass me the salt. But that sounds a little bit blunt. Better to say, sorry, would you just pass me the salt, please? Or, sorry, is anybody sitting there? Would you mind if I took that seat? Oh, thank you. Sorry to interrupt. Are you getting the idea? At the beginning of the video, I said I had a book recommendation for you, and it's this book by Kate Fox, who's a social anthropologist, and it's called Watching the English. If you really want to find out a little bit more about social interactions in Britain and British culture, then this is the ideal book. The book looks into the hidden rules of English behaviour and why we do the things we do. It goes into this idea of avoiding conflict and exploring the origins of this obsession with politeness. I'm going to put a link in the description if you're interested in finding out more about it. Second up, I've got a recommendation for a podcast. You might have heard of Word of Mouth. It's on BBC Radio 4, and it's a it's a podcast that looks into language. It's hosted by a great guy called Michael Rosen, who's a poet. In this particular episode, he talks to social linguist Louise Milani about apologising. They talk about what makes an apology seem genuine and what makes some apologies fall flat. It's really interesting. Again, I'm going to put the link in the description below. I've also got 2 articles to share with you which further explore this sort of subject. One is from The Guardian, and it's called An Apology Has to Be Meaningful, How to Say Sorry. And it explores the components of a sincere apology and why some apologies miss the mark. And then if you want more reading, there's another article from BBC Future website, which is called Why Do the British Say Sorry So Much? And it explores the cultural reasons behind the British tendency to overuse the word sorry, even when they're not at fault. This article explores the idea of negative politeness, which I mentioned a little bit earlier on, and also references Kate Fox, who is the author of the book I recommended. Sorry, but I've got one last phrase for you. Sorry, not sorry. This one is a little bit cheeky. You use sorry, not sorry, when you don't actually feel sorry at all. When you know you probably should apologise for something, but you're not going to. For example, I ate the last piece of cake. Sorry, not sorry. Sorry, not sorry is a playful way to be unapologetic. Okay, so the free PDF is available to download on my website, and it includes a full transcript of today's video, plus notes where I break down the points that we've covered today. And I also share some useful phrases and include these recommendations and more. I actually have some even more recommendations if you want some authentic materials to listen, watch and read. Okay, so that brings today's video to an end, but thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, please give me a big thumbs up and subscribe for more videos, and I'll see you next time. Take care.